You may wonder, in a general or in a personal way, how certain medications that treat mental illnesses work, such as those that help cure depression. Well, I'm going to explain how a common medication, fluoxetine or Prozac, is used to treat depression. Prozac is a part of a drug class called SSRIs, or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which are commonly used to treat depressive and anxiety disorders, as these drugs work to increase the levels of serotonin in the brain. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that regulates a person's mood and gives the feelings of satisfaction and happiness. Serotonin can also be known as the happy hormone. Serotonin is released by a neuron and moves through channels to the space between neurons, or the synapse, where neurons interact to transmit impulses like those of serotonin. From there, the serotonin moves to the receptors of another neuron, and this connection will eventually send positive mood signals. The neuron that released the serotonin can actually take it back in, as this channel is reversible, and the neurons do this in the first place so as to not overstimulate their targets. This becomes an issue for those with depression, as their receptors are not sensitive enough to respond to normal amounts of serotonin they receive, or there is not enough serotonin being released in general. So fewer and fewer impulses bridge the synaptic gap between the brain cells, and less serotonin reaches the receptors. Medications like Prozac ensure that the serotonin stays in the synapse for a long period of time by blocking the path for the serotonin to travel back into the neuron. This leads to postsynaptic cells going to the receptors and sending positive mood signals, which those with depression were lacking without the medication. The process for the medication to work normally takes a few weeks, as the fluoxetine essentially forces the synapse to change itself to become more sensitive to the amount of serotonin in the synapse by growing new serotonin receptors and more neurons to allow for more signals to be passed, lessening the depression overall. So that was a lot of complex information on the brain's inner working, but now you know how antidepressants like Prozac work